This AFC West preview edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code SGPN. Score up to $1,000 in bonus cash. We're also brought to you by Rhythm. Get your 7-day free trial today by going to sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM.
What's up, guys? This is Carson Steele. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner on picks, Ryan, Real Money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. How we feeling, Sean?
Feeling good.
Just got back from Vegas.
Got back from Vegas Saturday evening. Good time there. I mean, really the highlight for me, cashing that Georgia Tech money line. Nice plus 400 dog. That was
easy
awesome.
Money.
That was awesome. That essentially bankrolled some of the crazier future bets I got in over at the old Circa. Did our VSiN show. That was a lot of fun. Went to Barry's. Awesome steak as always. Yeah,
winning money and then investing it immediately into a futures ticket is the best way to do it. You don't. It just. You barely have it in your pocket.
Yeah, and I was on a nice run blackjack wise. It's I got down on Circa Millions and a bunch of other future stuff, and then still came back with more money. It was really, as Derek says, you'll have the time of your life, and I think I did past couple days. It was also the perfect time to be out in Vegas where you could go hard enough. Did a bunch of shows. The Survivor podcast was super fun. Got a bunch of guests on the podcast. Did our VSiN show. So still did a bunch of work, but had some DGen time. Got pretty liquored up. So yeah, great trip overall, Ryan.
And honestly, the weekend's growing. It's definitely
tons of Radio Row. I mean, I sold it when we were doing the reads, but I mean, really a great weekend to go out there, and still obviously time until now. From now until the season starts. You can get in obviously on Circa Survivor, Circa Millions, use our proxy Vegas Maddie. We actually signed up for the contest, Ryan.
We did.
Very easy using Vegas Maddie, proxy.footballcontest.com. And yeah, it was good times. Got that going. We didn't get, they had a bonus blackjack tournament if you had 3 entries in. Didn't win that. But yeah, it was a great time.
And had 2 hand pays at the slot machine. For those who don't follow me on social, Titans and Giants, both with a little bit of a bink there. So yeah, I'm just like Sean. I was trying to explain it to the wife how I lost a lot of money this week, and if you just look at how much money I brought out and how much money I brought back, but then I was trying to explain that I have like 2 inches thick futures.
Yeah, well,
she wasn't into
some of the futures you had to wait to get cleared because they included and Circa. I don't know if they did this last year, Ryan. Is this new where they allowed division parlays? Because I don't recall that. I feel like last year, or what was it? Well, we put that one on the Texans and the Steelers.
Was not possible last year, or that was 2 years ago.
It's maybe 2 years ago.
But I don't believe it was possible last year. I kind of have some memories of us learning the same game rules and also kind of understanding that the division parlay wasn't in play. But now it seems that if there's a yes no, you can tie it together with a number of restrictions. But I did put in relative to this division, I did put in a division parlay. We'll get to it later, Sean.
Yes,
but I also put in a absolute banger of a long shot that it does have the Giants in it, along with the Steelers and the Texans. But $100 pays 131,000.
I put in a Titans. Well, this was like the ultimate. So I got $15 in free slot play. I ran it up to $45. I cashed that out. Then I threw in like an extra $15, and then took that over and put down a Titans. with the Steelers
and the Bucks.
With the Bucks,
I did the same thing.
I was
What,
about.
You go 100.
I think I went like $60.
Okay.
And I was 13 grand.
So I
like
turned my slot free play into 200. 100 went on the one I just said, and 100 went on the version you said, which was 100 to win. I think 31 grand.
Yeah, it was. It's gonna be a pretty sweet cash when that comes in.
I was thinking about it. If I hit just a mere like 30% of the things I put in, we're gonna have an amazing offseason. And Sean, I just some of
the cashing briefcase is ready because when we pull off one of these cashes, we're gonna get the football.
We're gonna
briefcase.
share the briefcase. We're gonna share it for cashing purposes.
Oh yeah. Well, if it's our joint ticket, certainly. And I will handcuff it to my wrist. To add to an extra level.
I will say, Sean, I have also started watching the Hokies hype videos. God help us if something good happens this year, Sean. I'm really going to take down the house. Mano a mano, me versus Derek.
All right, we're going to get into the division preview. Before we do, though, this was a great clip. Instantly realized it had a chance to be a sound drop. Certainly, you're going to be hearing from it, I'm sure. Almost as good as
right in the butt,
which maybe right in the butt is really tough to
right in the butt.
The Wheel of Fortune one. I was thinking about that one today. But Ryan, this is WFAN, right? Boomer Esiason.
Keep vamping.
They're talking about the Jets and basically Aaron Rodgers. He should be asking to be coached up hard, courtesy of WFAN.
Yeah, truly amazing.
It's one of the most observant things that I think I've ever heard on this radio station from one of the talk show hosts.
Right. I think it's a great idea. It really is a great idea what BT pitched here. So let's listen to this from yesterday.
This is what Aaron Rodgers should. Maybe he already did this. If I'm Aaron Rodgers, I knock on his door, or I text him, or I call him, or I have already had a beer with him before we went to camp after I got back from Egypt. I say, Coach, you got to coach me hard. You get on me. We're good. Trust me. I know it's coming from a good spot. Get in my ass. Get on my ass. Right. In the behind when I need it.
Get in my ass. He immediately realized what he said. And
did you ever see the pivot of Boomer Esiason into like sports Howard Stern, just roasting people on the regular?
I do. I like Esiason. I thought he's a guy. He actually gives you an opinion. He's not afraid to shit on people, which
That's
a
why
lot
he's
of the
successful
national
in New
guys.
York. I mean, he's on the biggest.
Being negative for no reason is pointless, but being negative when you're criticizing, like some of these guys will come on there, especially former players, former coaches, and won't say anything bad about the players or the coaches. You're supposed to give analysis, say who sucks and who doesn't.
Except for when he was talking shit about Randy Moss. We didn't like that. We're friends with Randy Moss. That wasn't nice.
Oh, the Randy Moss, the
horse race,
the horse race,
the degenerate, not the guy who fake pulled his pants down, causing Joe Buck to say, "That is a disgusting act."
That is a disgusting act.
By the way, go watch this video. It's funny how the video. It almost like it feels like you're going through a portal when the drop plays, because just hear that part of it so much that when you hear the
my
audio,
brain is trained.
When you hear like the full thing, it's one of those like zoom out pictures. Really mind blowing stuff, Sean.
All right, Ryan, let's hop into the AFC West division preview.
Yes, sir.
Shout out to the Denver Broncos coming in at 5.5 is their win total.
Wah, wah, wah,
and
wah.
Ryan, you have them going 5-12, going under their win total. I'm in on the Broncos this year, at least relative to market. I think they're going to be the surprise team. I think they're going to make a little bit of a minor run. I did already cash Bo Nix to be the starter. Shout out to everyone who fell for the fake. Hey, Sean, how is he going to win Offensive Rookie of the Year if he's third string on Denver's quarterback depth chart?
These are fair points.
He won the job easily. He looked very sharp. It's going to be a simple offense. They're bringing some physicality. Sean Payton is a very good head coach. He's never lost less than 7 games. And I think this team is a playoff team. So I got them 9-8. I think make playoffs to me is my favorite bet.
He's never won less than 7 games.
Yes.
I think you said lost.
Okay.
I was confused for a second. But I almost considered coming into this and bumping the Broncos up.
Okay.
Until I realized it would mean I would have to change my win total decision, which I don't necessarily want to do that, but I will say they had a decent preseason. I could see the angle. And I'm not mad at
preseason's worth whatever, but I like Sean Payton's second year of getting his guys, getting them in the system. I think he put a lot into drafting Bo Nix, and I don't think he's going to get embarrassed. I think Bo Nix, not going to have an amazing year, but not quite like a CJ Stroud year, but I think he's going to be competent enough to run this offense.
I would say that Bo Nix also would be the kind of guy that would look good in the preseason. So, I'm that Seattle Denver game is much higher on the list of games I'm interested to watch than I would have thought, especially after this Seattle offensive thing that just happened, where I'm like, maybe they are going to run this Washington offense the way that they.
What do you mean the Seattle offense?
Oh, just the offense, just looking like they're opening it up a bit, looking like there's a lot more aggression than I would have expected.
Yeah,
just
I guess
based on some of the stuff I read early.
To me, I'm still skeptical on Geno Smith. We'll rehash it.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
All I'm saying, and by the way, they did have Sam Howell listed at the circa most interceptions. We might need a just in case bet there if you're right about Geno. But yeah, no, I think the preseason shouldn't change your mind too much, but a couple teams I'm kind of
certainly
tilt.
Ryan, and we got to talk to Jake about getting some moving shirts in the SGPN merch store, because we're market movers. In this case, for me, I gave out offensive rookie of the year Bo Nix 16-1, and now he's down to 10-1. So at the very least, I'm giving you CLV, people. I'm putting CLV right in your pocket.
So you must have convinced me to bet the rookie of the year, because I do have a 30-1 ticket on Bo Nix.
Yeah, I think we did it even
early on.
Yeah,
it might have been before the draft, with the idea that he's an old guy and maybe he would have a chance to come in right away. All right, is that your best bet?
No, my favorite bet is Broncos to make the playoffs plus 760. Although, since I already gave out Bo Nix at 16-1, yeah, if they make the playoffs, he's probably going to win offensive rookie of the year. But in case Caleb Williams they sneak in, I'll make playoffs at plus 760.
All right, I really like this when we did the episode, but last winless team 11-1
for the Broncos.
Yeah,
that's a horrible bet.
At Seattle,
win,
tough road spot. Pittsburgh at home. I know you like the Steelers defense against Bo Nix rookie.
Yeah, but then you look at that actually is a tough spot for the Steelers, because they're going to come off the emotional win against the Falcons. And
this Pittsburgh
and week 2 elevation Denver, Ryan.
Cordero Patterson
revenge game
at Tampa, road game there, at Jets, and then Raiders at home. That maybe they're in the mix with Raiders and Chargers, but I'm still playing it.
They're definitely going to be.
I'm still playing it because I think getting to 0-4 might be enough this season.
Okay, so you're saying last
winless team 11-1 for the Broncos.
Horrible
still my favorite.
Horrible bet. Yeah, Ryan, and I guess we can save it when we talk about the Chiefs, but we didn't even break down Carson Steele.
Yeah,
stealing the show in the preseason fantasy world. Of course, if you're looking to get down on Carson Steele or some fantasy projections, you got to go over to underdogfantasy.com. Use our promo code SGPN. I'm sure his rushing yards were comically low. No one's believing him.
I might have shared, yeah, but there were some comically high projections floating around for Carson Steele shortly after he had that sick run in the second preseason game.
So good. And I mean, week 1 NFL kickoff, mere days away. They already have all the numbers up for, I'm sure they'll even add more, but Patrick Mahomes, what do you think, Ryan? 1.5 passing touchdowns, higher, lower week 1?
Probably higher.
I would probably go higher as well. Underdogfantasy.com. You can win up to 100x. And of course, get in now. Deposit match up to $1,000 in bonus cash. Underdogfantasy.com. Promo code SGPN.
Well, we just came back from Vegas.
Yes. Las Vegas, the Raiders coming in at very intriguing 6.5. I got them going 6-11. Like the under. And Ryan, breaking news.
You got to change this one.
I'm gonna adjust this to 5-12.
Really?
For the Raiders. Yes.
All right. You think early, middle, late? You had them going 1-3, 1-3. I'm gonna adjust one of those to 2-2.
No, you're doing it backwards.
Oh, sorry. You're taking wins away.
Yes.
What?
0-4.
I heard that you're giving them wins just because I'm so optimistic. So you're even more out on Gardner Minshew.
It's not Gardner Minshew. I just don't think this offense.
Wow.
A lot of bad energy around the offense in general. I don't think they're going to be able to put up many points. Now, I do think their defense will be good. But yeah,
Are you basing this just on preseason play?
No, I thought the everything surrounding the quarterback play was a disaster. We even ran into our buddy Vegas Matty Ryan proxy for us. He, as a Raiders fan, he's like, yeah, it's not good with this quarterback play. He liked Raiders lose all road games 14-1. When we talked to him in person, he was joking about, oh yeah, check out the Raiders team preview. Ignore what I said about Aiden O'Connell winning the job.
Yeah, and
he was kind of right in that they did everything they could to have Aiden O'Connell win the job, and he couldn't do it. So they have the guy that they wanted as their backup. Unfortunately, now the starter. I just think it's going to be a rough time for this Raiders offense.
They paid a lot for a backup because they knew this was a possible outcome.
Yes, that's a bad start to a season, I would say.
But I mean, Gardner Minshew was fine last year. How'd the Colts do?
What were they, 8-9? This is I don't think Shane Steichen. I think Shane Steichen and that offense is better than this Raiders team.
Devontae Adams and Luke Getsy disagree.
Okay.
Brock Bowers, Michael Mayer, Zeus White. You don't get to say Zeus in the office place.
All right.
You know what? They were chanting Raiders in the sports book at the Circa at some point on the weekend. Excited Raider fan. I'm in.
Well, I'll be honest.
I'm sad that you're doing this.
I did have a Raiders +9, or no, in the preseason against what was it, the 49ers, right?
Yep.
And then I also went big on Raiders money line. And we get out of kind of watching a little bit at dinner, and then we get out to the Circa Sportsbook. This is like a late night game, and the Raiders kick a field goal to tie the game late. Which again, you're in a gambling town when the coach is kicking a field goal to tie it up for a preseason game, and then they're doing that lateral play. The 49ers to try and get a touch, and the place is going nuts because they're like, hey, it's a good. It was the environment for a week 3 preseason game. It was electric in the sportsbook. It was an amazing moment. Everyone there was yelling and screaming, and as the fumble Ruski play was happening. It was great.
And I'm sure it had some of it was gambling implications, but a lot of it was just people were like just into watching football.
Well, I think
like people walking through.
I think a lot of people were like me. Well, I think a bunch of 49ers fans came out to Vegas just to hang around for Vegas Raiders, vibe, I guess. And I think a ton of people like me were just like, the Raiders 9-point dogs. What are you doing here? And took the money line. So.
They say at any given time, 1 out of 5 people in Las Vegas are from Southern California. Or from California. So good guess. Maybe it's a Raiders fan.
Yeah.
They're kind of the California team.
So my favorite bet, I'll just go with under 6.5 wins, because I don't think they're going to be.
Oh, where is this coming from?
What do you mean?
This is sad. I'm not even mad. I'm just disappointed. This is Gardner Minshew's trip. We love Gardner Minshew. We saw him working out to Creed.
Okay.
You're just that's it. You're just out.
Yeah, no, I don't think their offense is going to be very good. And I'm in on the Broncos.
You don't have to be out on them to be in on the Broncos. I feel like that's where you're wrong. But all right. I hope we don't run into Gardner Minshew. It's gonna be very awkward. Got to talk to him about how you faded him.
I'll tell him how bad he looked when he came in
preseason.
No, for the Eagles.
Oh, that's fair. All right. So I would say, although I was going through my
10-7, you had them, Ryan.
Yeah,
I feel great with my 5-12.
Oh, I love this team. Regular season, Charlie. All right, I have a couple I like. They all made it into the old satchel. I think we're gonna go. Do we go yards or do we go touchdowns? I'll stick with the yards. Zamir White, Love the angle. We saw some sharp books out there like Circa move this number from 30 to 1 when we discussed it, Sean. Most rushing yards in the league to down to Sean 10 to 1 it was this past weekend for Zamir White. You can still find it 25 to 1 in all the places out there. So all the digital places still have 25 to 1. So go get yourself some Zamir White most rushing yards. I watched that rookie Dylan Lobb that everyone, or however you pronounce his last name, that everyone in the fantasy community were getting excited about. Not going to be taking carries away from Zeus. So
Japan in the chat saying very disappointed in you, Sean.
I don't get it. I didn't see this coming. Gardner, we should be celebrating Gardner Minshew.
No, I predicted he would win the starting job, and now
you're shitting all over him.
No, I don't think their offense is going to be very good. I think you need a good offensive line around him. I don't think they have a good offensive line, and I question the play calling.
I also have a Antonio Pierce Coach of the Year ticket.
That is a bad bet.
I gotta have it.
Why do you have to
have one?
Why?
Because I think that I think there's a decent chance that his rah bullshit and this team does enough, and they do have enough skill position guys around Minshew. And
so they were 8-9 last year, though. They're gonna have to win like 12 games for him to win Coach of the Year.
Maybe. I think he could overcome the deficit thing just because of the situation that led him to being the coach. I think, in a way, it's a unique interim.
I think you're giving the voters too much credit.
Maybe.
What did you get that price at? 50 to 1?
No, 30 to 1.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Negative energy about the Raiders.
Yeah, no. Some teams I don't like, Ryan.
All right. Move on. This is shocking.
What is shocking about it?
It's just a very you think the Colts had more talent on their offense last year than the Raiders have on there?
By a wide margin. Better coach.
But do you think the talent is better? Because Gardner Minshew also looked better than AR-15, which I don't know how much that's saying. But I do think you could argue the talent is better on this Raiders offense.
Okay. Yeah,
and I think Gardner Minshew just has to get the ball to the.
I think the offensive line and play calling was better.
Devontae Adams disagrees.
Okay.
Loves Luke Getsy.
Great.
I did not. Maybe I can't believe we're battling over the Raiders. Let's talk about the Chiefs or the Chargers.
Chargers win total 8.5. I'm on the under 8-9. You're on the under as well. 7 and 10. Where are you at with the Chargers, Ryan?
I mean, it's gone from not. I was already not high. I told you I quit them, so I already quit them, and then things have only gotten worse. You gotta be low on them. I considered taking a win away from this. Like if I was going to give the Broncos a win, it would be taken away from the Chargers. I love my favorite bet is the point total, which you can still find. Under it was under 371.5 when we discussed it. It's now down to under 369.5.
Yeah, I think
I don't this team is not going to score a lot of points. Even if they're scraping wins out, they are not going to score a lot of points.
Yeah, I mean the stuff I gave out, I'm looking at Ladd McConkey lower receiving touchdowns. He's banged up. Quentin Johnson lower 589.5 receiving yards.
You can't find that anymore, can you?
I don't know. We'll have to. We'll do our division underdog play at the end.
Way.
But
he's not going to be on the team.
Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I mean the plantar fascia is really why it's tough to be super in on this team. I do think Harbaugh. I guess I'm not quite as low as Ryan, but
you have to have gotten lower. It does not. Things are not headed in a positive direction.
Well, yeah, I guess I would have gotten more positive if you saw better news about Justin Herbert. But yeah, I mean, he's just starting to practice now. It's a new offense. He's dealing with that foot thing. Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they figure it out. I'm still optimistic Harbaugh is a good head coach, but I think especially with the injury, this feels like a transition year for the Chargers. So 8-9 makes a bunch of sense.
The injury, the cap situation, the roster situation. I think, like we saw with Sean Payton last year, I think we still have some big moves. Maybe some more roster cleansing from Harbaugh. You know he's going to do it. You know something's going to occur that's going to cause him to want to cut someone.
Yeah,
that maybe they're tied to financially, and he's like, I just can't. This guy's not part of my system.
I feel like it could look like the Denver Broncos did last year, where there were some moments where you're like, oh, this doesn't look too good, and then they go on a bit of a run. And then ultimately end up falling short there of the playoffs. 8-9, the Broncos were last year, first year in Sean Payton. That feels kind of like the perfect result here for Harbaugh and the Chargers. So I do think Harbaugh is a good head coach, and I think it probably won't be this year, but next year, look out for the Chargers. So I guess I'll go miss playoffs as my favorite bet. What are you doing here, Ryan?
Yeah, I just think the ceiling is so low, and the floor is super low because the quarterback could have something more serious. The offense and the defense that they're running could have some acclimating to do before having any sort of success, and they don't have a home edge. So yeah, I just think that the floor for this team is super low, and I was committed to quitting. I gave them up last year. I'm done with it. And I remember someone reminded me in the DMs that I used to hate on Harbaugh, and he misses those days. So we'll see. Transitional year for me too. Maybe I'm under on the points. Under 369.5 is the updated 371 when we did the episode. But there's no, to me that's the lock. This team is, if they're good, it's because they're playing good defense. And if they're not good, it's because they're not playing good defense. That's my opinion on this team.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the offense
that makes sense.
The offense is going to be a slower moving unit that maybe if they fall behind all the time, they get to this over. Maybe that's the version, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, I see it.
I just Harbaugh finding out he doesn't have a home field edge. I'm waiting because. It's gonna cause him to say something in a press conference to try to rally. Like he's gonna do some like metaphorical thing to try to rally the crowd, and he's gonna find out they just don't have any fans. So like, there's no way to get him in the stadium. You think he's gonna turn people? Think he's gonna campaign for fans? Can you imagine Harbaugh walking around the streets
recruiting
of Los
fans?
Angeles? Oh please, give me. I would actually watch that if it was like a weekly show. Just Harbaugh walking around neighborhoods trying to convince them to be Chargers fans.
Just saw the chat talking about sending in some hand mail entries.
No way, really?
For the phrase that pays. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/phrase. We are giving away a $500 NFL future that we will put in over at Circa. And of course, you listen to every team preview in order, collect all 32 words, completes a phrase. And yes, sportsgamblingpodcast.com/phrase. You can submit it digitally, which will make it easier on you, or you can just mail in the ballot. We have our mailing address there. We'll add you to the list. And then on the week 1 NFL picks episode, which is always Wednesday night, we will announce a winner live on air. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/phrase.
Oh baby, I can't wait to get the mail in one. Can't wait. We'll have to. Do we have the anthrax kit just to test it first in case? We don't really know who this Japan guy is.
No, we have no idea.
Could be coming from big corporate gambling, trying to take us down.
Trying to take us out. I can see that, right?
Yeah, maybe.
All right. So Chiefs are the last team, and of course, their win total set at 11.5, which is high. I was on the over at 12.5. Kramer even higher at 13-4. Or 13-4. It's tough to be, yeah, man. It's tough to really hate on this team.
What's going wrong for them right now? Hollywood Brown misses a couple weeks.
Yeah. Well, and the Rashee Rice thing, that looks like he's not going to get suspended, at least probably not in the beginning of the season. I mean, it feels like they're going to cruise. And sorry, the win total was 10.5. Unless did it move since when we recorded, Ryan?
No, it should be 11.5. Is it not saying 11.5?
No, when we did the episode, it was 10.5.
Really?
Unless, let's see.
Okay.
Well, I don't know.
Maybe it was. I believe it's been 11.5 the entire time. No, it is. It was 10.5. I'm confused.
I mean, I wrote 10.5 down, Ryan, but you're the sheet aficionado. So.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it moved. I'm double
I don't think that can't be right. While you're figuring out what the win total is or was, I'm on the over. I like their spot there. it's tough to be super negative on them. And Carson Steele, the Carson Steele angle has been super fun. We've been hyping it up all season, and he looked really good in that preseason game. Like I'd be shocked if he doesn't make the team, and I really think he's going to be involved in the goal line.
Really? Do you believe that? 'Cause I know we're going to play the first touchdown, but do you believe that he will actually be a like sub this man into the game, get him the
100%? I think if they're on the 1 yard line, their fullback Carson Steele will be getting carries, or at least in that play sheet. I almost can guarantee you that.
Okay. I mean, yeah, I think. All right. So I believe the current total is 11.5. To answer your question, Sean, and I believe the win total was 11.5 when we did the episode.
Okay, so that episode was wrong. I'll update the sheets.
What do you mean?
I thought you said, was it 10.5 or 11.5 when you recorded it?
It doesn't look like it's changed. So perhaps you just typoed. We'll have to. Josh,
Okay.
we'll dig it up.
Yeah, I mean, I'm high on the Chiefs. I will be playing Carson Steele first touchdown. What else do you like, Ryan?
In every game, or are you just saying in the first game?
Yeah, I'm going to be playing him in the first game, and yeah, I can see myself playing him more than one game.
All right, I had a long list. I do think the ceiling case Rashee Rice bets are fun.
Yeah,
but I would say just it's either Rashee. So which one do you like better? The Rashee Rice most receiving yards in the AFC West, or actually, you know what? Just put AFC West minus 230. I also parlayed this at the circus, Sean, with Detroit Lions division. So that's going to pay me a nice, I think it was right around plus 190, plus 180. Yeah. Parlaying the Chiefs with a bunch of division winners was a good idea.
Yeah. I mean, how do you, we had Jeff Benson on, and he was like, should be closer to $3 or whatever. I mean, yeah, especially in this division. Now I'm high on the Broncos, but at least compared to market, but I don't see any of these teams really giving Kansas City a run for their money. And if, you know, that's why the over 11.5, yeah, it's a little high, but I still think, AFC
I don't
West
think it's
is
high.
just such a lock.
This team is there. I feel like we've discussed it a lot, but they have they're not going to have the hangover because they seem to be fired up. They're in a much better place than they were last year. Comically better place. The only thing you could argue is that yes, there's some questions about the offensive line, but it seems like that generally works out. And can they replace Snead? There were a lot more questions last year. So it's kind of a lame prediction. And also the idea that the three teams in their division suck is in the range of outcomes. So could they go 6-0 in the division? Probably not, but yeah,
they'll probably. I mean, they're 5-1. They'll be super motivated to kick your Raiders' ass after the Kermit thing, losing to them at home on
That's
Christmas
fair.
Day.
They will be motivated.
There was a lot of those games that Antonio Pierce pulled out of his ass, multiple defensive touchdowns. I'm remembering all the reasons why I hated the Raiders.
Oh my goodness.
And you want to look at stuff that's going to regress. Chiefs minus 11 turnover differential. I think if they're just even turnover differential, this team is a 12-13 win team. So a lot of upside. But I will officially, I think you threw it out there during the episode, Ryan, but Rashee Rice most receiving yards in the AFC West, 10-1. I mean, who's giving him a run for his money? Cortland Sutton? Maybe Kelsey?
It's Devontae Adams.
Yeah, you're right.
It's Devontae and Kelsey on his own team, and then Cortland Sutton is probably like the fun play in the division. But Rashee, because all right, so let's just play it out. If Rashee Rice doesn't get suspended, look what he was doing down the stretch last year.
Yeah, it's crazy. And they kept saying, "Oh, we're bringing him along slow," and they went out of their way to bring him around slow, and they don't want to do that this year. And yeah, Xavier Worthy's fun, but he's also 150 pounds. Like he's not I don't think he's going to get the volume, and the fact that Hollywood Brown's going to miss some time gives Rashee Rice a great chance.
I think just the idea that they brought in a bunch of speed is going to allow Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce to operate with more space. And I think we saw it last year. Teams still chose to take Kelce out of the game.
Yeah.
And so Rashee Rice was able to cash in with some big statistical games. So the yards is definitely the way to do it. And it is kind of crazy to be able to get Mahomes' number one receiver, or at least number one wide receiver at 10-1 to have the most receiving yards.
Yeah, like there's a world where Rashee Rice has a nice breakout year 2 in this offense, hit the ground running. Ryan, before we give out favorite underdog entry, of course, shout out to Rhythm. Hopefully you guys already were on Rhythm for week 0 college football. I know Rhythm had a very good week there. Their model loved Delaware State. I, like an idiot, I was like, I'm smarter than Rhythm. I'm smarter than the model that they have going. And I went with my gut handicapping of Hawaii. Hawaii did not get it done. Delaware State covered pretty easily there. What was it, like 35-21? It was
the dogs seem to have a decent
dogs
weekend.
were barking, and my Rhythm model was pretty good with the dogs. It had Georgia Tech money line in there, so super fun playing around with these college football models. And cannot wait till we actually have some real game action for the NFL as well, and of course props too. If you're going to be listening to the props episode every Friday with CJ, we will be going in the lab, I'm sure, using a ton of Rhythm stuff. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. Get started today. Get your free 7-day trial. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. So Ryan, officially, we got the Chiefs. I'm 12-5. You're 13.
Quick update. I'm looking at the. I just verified that we did discuss this win total at 11.5. Must have been a scribing error.
Okay.
So we're there. Underdog.
Yes.
You,
underdog.
Dealer's choice. What team we starting with?
Let's start with Denver. Let's get some positive Denver in our underdog entry.
I had the Broncos up already. I knew what you were going to do. Which one are you taking? Touchdown. I would actually, if I was trying to collaborate with you, it would be the Cortland Sutton, whichever one you prefer.
Why not Bo Nix passing yards? 28.90.5. That's like below Bryce Young.
Because Cortland Sutton saves us if Stidham has to come in and do some stuff. You like Nix better than Sutton?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I like Cortland Sutton. I guess he's quarterback proof, but why? In what world do they start Bo Nix and not let him finish the season?
Injury, or he's not good.
But I think even if he's not good, they're going to let him play.
All right. Yeah.
I mean, look at Bryce Young played 16 games. Was he good?
No.
I think if you start a quarterback week 1 as a rookie, it's because you think he's the man, and he's the man. Yeah, you are.
Yeah, no, Russ did better than this last year.
Yeah, I think it's Bo Nix passing yards. I mean, like Cortland Sutton's gone under this 2 of his last 3 years.
It's a better situation. You keep telling me.
No, I think so. I like Cortland Sutton.
Better.
So we got Bo Nix higher 28.90.5 passing yards.
All right.
You don't think he's going to get that?
I think that Russ did better than that last year, so I'm okay with it.
Okay.
I'm just a little worried with if he plays the whole season.
Based on what?
Just injuries happen.
Yeah, but I mean, all right, then
he's also not that much better than the backup. So that in my mind, so there's that too. Anyway, Chargers.
What do you got?
It's got to be Josh Palmer, right? There's not a huge selection.
Yeah,
it's gotten quite limited actually since the last.
I mean, I like the Ladd McConkey lower receiving touchdowns, but I know you don't like negativity, Ryan.
Oh, I like negativity.
Okay, I mean, Ladd McConkey getting 5 receiving touchdowns, I think is a pretty high stretch.
I'm with you there. That's why it is a little spicy to go higher.
Yeah, but I like going lower on Ladd.
I'm with you. Overrated. So everyone saw Harbaugh draft a white guy and they got excited.
No, I mean it's
an honest mistake.
It's he might be fun in like a PPR thing, but he's missed time. And anytime a rookie receiver misses time with the quarterback. The quarterback's also missing time. Like, how are they going to hit their ground running in that offense? Like, if the offense is good, I think it's all just because of their ability to run. I don't think it would be Ladd McConkey related.
Raiders,
and 5 receiving touchdowns is pretty high for a rookie,
especially. Yeah, you just like, what's this team going to do in the red zone? They have a couple running backs. They have some tight end options.
They have a bunch of options at the tight end. They have Gus Edwards. They have Kamani Vidal.
It just doesn't seem like Ladd is going to be within the top 3 options in my mind.
Oakland Raiders,
the
Las Vegas Raiders,
formerly Oakland, formerly Los Angeles. Zamir White, higher rushing yards would be my angle. I just think he's going to get a tremendous volume, 799.5 yards.
Oh, they won't let us fade Minshew. I was going to fade Minshew.
Oh, what is this is?
I mean, you want to talk about a guy who's not going to play the entire season.
Oh,
Zamir White, 799.5 rushing yards.
I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I think
volume's going to be there.
Zeus volume.
What about the Chiefs? Can't play Rashee Rice, unfortunately.
They don't have any Rashee Rice.
They don't have him. I don't. I mean,
do we want Harrison Butker week 1?
You want?
No, I think it's
fire
fun
up
for
some kicker props.
I think it's fun to keep it with the season, but let's see. I mean, the Mahomes passing yards, 43.60.5, I think is crazy.
What about the touchdowns?
I mean, 34.5. I kind of like because Carson Steele's going to get a lot of work at the goal line.
Oh, all right. You're projecting that he steals some
vulturing.
Right. Mahomes 2020 38 touchdowns, 2021 37 touchdowns, 2022 41 touchdowns, 2023 27. The last time he had under 37 touchdowns was 2019, which the year after he came out and threw for 4,740 yards, 38 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean the same thing kind of applies with the passing yards, and he was actually closer to getting his passing yards last year than he was. I mean, he was 7.5 touchdowns off last year from what they're hanging his number. Whereas the passing yards, he was only like, I mean,
his touchdown
only like 180 yards off.
His career average for touchdown percentage is 6.1. He was at 4.5 last year. If he just regresses to being average, we're in. I think I mean, I actually don't care. I don't care. I'll play whatever. You want to do yards? I'd prefer touchdowns, but we can do.
All
yards.
Right. Yeah. If you're being a stickler, we can do.
Yeah, I'll be a stickler.
Touchdowns.
I'll be a stickler. You want
higher 34?
You want to play Sean's version? Play Sean's version. I don't want to hear your bullshit if you lose. All right, I'm in.
And 34.5 passing touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes, firing on that. So officially, Bo Nix higher, 28.90.5 passing yards. You can cash that now. Ladd McConkey lower, 4.5 receiving touchdowns. Zamir White higher, 799.5 rushing yards. Patty Mahomes higher, 34.5 passing touchdowns. Worth hitting on before we wrap things up here, because it is AFC news. It does look like Drake May really made some headway in the.
Do you think it matters?
What do you mean?
Like, do you think it's going to make a difference that he played well in this last game?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, sometimes teams just have a plan, and this was just part of the plan. And how well he plays doesn't matter. Now, I tend to agree. They haven't announced anything.
I think they put him in a situation. I've said this from the beginning, that you draft a kid 3rd overall, he's going to find the field one way or the other. And Jacoby
made some plays.
Yeah, and he looked good. He's looked good consistently through the preseason. And I'll tell you why I think they're going to name Drake May the starter. Is because Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth kept talking about it and kept bringing up the narrative of how Drake May's winning this job. And why are they saying that? Because they talked to Gerard Mayo, and Gerard Mayo's like, Drake May is going to win this job. I'll be actually pretty surprised. Now, also, Jacoby Brissett didn't look great, got banged up dealing with a shoulder injury. So it kind of gives them a nice out as well.
Did he give you a little bit of Andrew Luck vibes?
Drake May?
Yeah. Like faster Andrew Luck?
I could. Yeah.
I'll tell you, he has that motion where he cocks back. Remember how Andrew Luck would always kind of cock back a little bit, like he's tilting his body back because he's going to go real deep. He kind of had a little bit of that. I don't know. He struck me as kind of, but I'll say this, the part that I liked about Drake May, of course, Sean, in the pre-draft process, me and Joe Shane would have loved to trade up for Drake May. It's the speed. Like you can see this dude's a fucking athlete.
That's why you hate Bo Nix, because you guys could have had him.
No. Oh no, I don't hate Bo Nix.
Oh, you just think he's bad.
I'm a little skeptical about him. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, very, very true. And I think there's, the fact that Sean Payton overdrafted him, certainly is why he's forcing him on the field early.
But he looked way better than the other quarterbacks in preseason.
That's also true.
Yeah. So I think even
he worked his way up from third on the depth chart.
Yeah. You got, come on. You got the narrative right there.
Yeah. I mean, good luck. I'm not going to be angry if the Broncos are good, but I am going to be very sad if you're right about the Raiders.
All right. What's our next division? We're going to be switching to the NFC. What are we doing first?
Well, we're switching over to the NFC, and I think if my alphabet's still working, I flipped it up, reversed it up, so we did the NFC East last. So we're going right back to the West Division, I think.
Oh, okay.
Is that not what's on the schedule?
No, I don't know what's on the schedule.
Oh, okay. I was freestyling.
I'm ready to go.
Yep, NFC West.
All right, NFC West coming up next, and of course, make sure you get in your entry for the phrase that pays. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/phrase. Remember, 10% off everything. Use the promo code football at the old merch store. And shout out to everyone who came up to us and said what's up out in Vegas.
Yes.
Met a bunch of listeners.
A lot of handshakes
to
were
the
had.
podcast, VSiN show.
A lot of handshakes.
Funniest was a guy, coming down the escalator. I really do feel like a hot chick coming on that circuit, because that's the only time. That's like
people give
wheelhouse for getting. Well, there's a guy coming down that was like eyeing me up, and then just started nodding his head. I'm like, okay, and he goes, "Love the show, man." But for a while he was just looking at me, nodding his head, and I go, "Appreciate it." It was just.
When I saw Scott from pregame, we did that. We kind of stared at each other for like way too long to be staring at each other, and then both realized, like, oh, hey, what's up?
Well, and then too, yeah, like we meet a lot of guys that we've only had these, we call into their show, vice versa, whatever, and so you only know them as like the head on a Zoom call, and then you actually see them walking around. And it takes you a little bit to figure it out. But thank you, everyone who said what's up. Always appreciate that. Ryan wants to thank everyone for all his birthday wishes.
Yes.
I know he's very excited about that.
I did thank every single one.
Yes.
It took a very long
Feel
time.
free to continue to hit him up, DM him. He loves the birthday love.
Love it. Yeah. It's very
Thank you for
favorite
participating
holiday.
in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, Stacking the Money Green. He's Ryan.
No, seriously, parlay the Chiefs to win this division with everything.
Kramer. Let it ride.